What's up guys? Today we have a little bit of a different video. Today I'm going to be talking about the quickest way, most effective way to make money in college as a photographer. I know that a lot of you guys are in college. I myself am graduating this year, and this is something I've learned and I really want to share with you guys now that I'm actually leaving, because I feel like it could benefit a lot of you. So if you're not already sure of what I'm talking about senior photos. Senior photos is by far the biggest cash grab of the school year. It's the easiest way to make money, and as long as you have a really good portfolio, you can make a ton of money and get a ton of clients. So I'm going to kind of lay out exactly how I do it. There's probably better ways of doing it and getting clients, but this is what's worked for me, and I've found a lot of success doing so. Yeah. Okay, so I guess step one is to make sure that you have a working portfolio and that you're actually good enough to do this, because this is a really important time for people. You really want to make sure that you're well versed behind the camera and you can deliver images that are outstanding to people, that actually exceed people's expectations. You should be totally comfortable with how to take images in all sorts of different lighting conditions, whether that be overcast, whether that be in harsh sunlight, whether that be at sundown, which is obviously the best. So yeah, and once you do that, you want to make a website. I use Squarespace for mine, and I just put a bunch of portrait stuff on there. That way people can easily figure out what type of images they're gonna get. And consistency is key when it comes to editing. So make sure that all of your images that you put on your portfolio, specifically graduation photos, all have a similar type of feel to them, similar colors. That way people really know exactly what to expect when they book you as a photographer. So now that you have your portfolio all set up, it's time to really push that out into social media. So I use Facebook and Instagram. So I'm going to firstly talk about Instagram. Instagram is great because you obviously have a ton of followers if you've been in school for 4 years. I'm not saying that I have a massive page, but I have 1,300. So people definitely know that I'm a photographer, and I'm not just some random bum off the street who has a camera who can take photos. And they know that I go to school, which is one of the most important parts. And then another really important thing is you want to use Facebook. Facebook is a little bit trickier because there's a couple different ways to go about it. I personally have found a lot of success in posting in the group page. So a lot of schools will have oh, so-and-so school, class of 2023. You want to post your stuff in there, and then people will see it, book you through your website, or reach out to you through your website, and there you go, you got a client. But the biggest thing is leveraging your social connections. I know myself, I've met a ton of people at school, and I'm kind of like an outgoing guy, so that's definitely really helped me. And just getting close with a graduating class and making sure that people know oh, here's my skill, let me help you with this thing. And people would be more than happy to book you if they know you personally. 9 times out of 10, people will want to book their friend versus some random photographer who might just be advertising their services. So really, the biggest thing is social connections that you have. And another great marketing technique that I found works really well is if you actually approach people that you've already shot before. Let's say if I shot in 2022, I took someone's graduation photos, they liked them, obviously, hopefully. I would reach back out to them in around February, right when you're about to enter the season of graduation photos, and I would say, hey, if you know anyone that's graduating this year, tell them to book through me, and if they do mention your name, then I'll shoot you $20 on Venmo right now. So I think that this is a really powerful tool, and it's really a win-win for everyone. A, you get more clients. B, your old clients make a little bit of money. And C, to deliver more images. And this is kind of a repeating process over and over and over again until you actually graduate. I found that to be super effective. People love making a quick 20 bucks. And honestly, why wouldn't you refer your friend that who's a photographer? All right. So next, I'm gonna kind of walk you through a shoot that I do and how I get ready for it. This is a shoot that I booked with one of my friends. She's been a really long time friend of mine, so I'm gonna kind of talk to you through how I get ready, and then I'm gonna take you on location and then show you how I actually shoot these photos, and then I'm gonna have a little bit of commentary on how I pull out selects for these people. So yeah, let's get right into it. So here we go. Alright, what's up guys? It's now the day of the shoot, so I'm just gonna quickly tell you guys how I get ready for a shoot. Pretty simple. All I'm doing right now is formatting my memory cards. Usually one 128 gig is perfectly fine for something like this, and then just format that. But I generally bring one extra 128 just in case something goes wrong on the card. You want to make sure you have a backup because you never know what might happen. And then next, I'm bringing like 4 to 5 batteries. If you have a Sony, you kind of understand how quickly they die, and you really don't want to be out there without a battery. And that's pretty much it for getting ready. But one pro tip that I can kind of share is that with things like this, when you're not necessarily carrying a bag, because it just generally will slow you down, and you're in an environment where there's a lot of people around, you don't want to leave a bag somewhere, is you put your batteries, your fully charged batteries, in your right pocket, and then as they die, because Sony's, they will kill batteries, you put them in your left pocket afterwards. That way you're never wondering what battery you're putting in your camera, and they should be always good to go. So yeah, that's a pro tip for you. So now I'm going to continue to get ready. All I'm going to do is just get in my car and head to the location. So yeah. Alright guys, so now we are on our way to the location. And I always try to be around like 15 minutes early for stuff like this. That way you can kind of get settled, get your gear set up. But most of that should have already been taken care of. So I'm just on my way now. And then just want to share one more pro tip for you is that you should always be in contact with your clients around like the morning, the day of these shoots, and just like talk about like any props that they're bringing. That way like you're prepared for anything. And then one other thing that I always tell my clients is, and I always ask my clients to send me like a Pinterest board of what they kind of want, and that really helps with getting them like all set up, and that way they know what to do and how to pose, and that gives you like a perspective and like on how to shoot the photos. So it's really helpful, puts you on the same page as them, and they're already like kind of ready for the day when you get there, which I think is a huge help. So now I'm gonna update you guys when we get there, and yeah. Alright, I hope those tips kind of helped you. Now I'm going to go into the actual like photo shoot, and I'm going to break down some of the things that I did and some of the things that I encourage everyone else to do. So yeah, so let's get right into it. And so this is one thing that I kind of learned over the course of the couple of years that I've been doing this, is that whenever you're shooting like a group with the intention of also getting individuals, you want to shoot the group first and have them like as one group, get a couple photos out of the way, and do the one set for them, and then break them up into individuals. It kind of just like helps ease them into it. That way it's not just like one at a time and then the group, because obviously they're a lot more comfortable with their friends. I was pretty comfortable with this group, and I think that that's like a huge benefit. But yeah.
And do you want mainly horizontal or vertical?
Okay. Another thing that you're going to find me do is really like trying to communicate with the client and make sure that I get exactly what they want. So I just asked if they wanted mainly vertical or horizontal. They responded both, which is fine. But just make sure that you're communicating with them as much as possible. That way you're getting exactly what they want as well.
Can we take this one rando? Yeah.
Alright, we'll do a couple more like this, and then I'm going to back up. But just get together now. Another thing that I can kind of point out here is that you want to shoot in the shadows as much as possible to try to like preserve those highlights, and I'll kind of get into this in the editing, but right now Adobe Lightroom has a really great software or an AI algorithm to kind of like detect the sky, and we can always like use that to bring down the highlights. But I think just generally speaking, I would always like kind of, when I can, shoot in the shadows. I think that that works the best. That's what I did for this first set for them here.
Alright, and turn to each other and laugh.
So another thing that I noticed here, and that I encourage everyone to do, is shoot at different focal lengths. That's going to give you some variation in your images. That way you deliver like a fairly diverse amount of like differing images. Of course, like you're going to apply the same edits for everything, but if you just add like the difference between different focal lengths, it kind of helps give them like more options to choose from.
So like upload you guys, and then if you want after that we can do without the caveats.
And this is a really good thing to bring up, is that encourage like as much movement as possible. especially like for groups, individuals. This also works. It kind of just like helps break up your set, and it gives you a little bit more emotion in what you're doing. And typically, like any action that's not forced will present itself naturally. So I always encourage people like, oh, walk past. And you want to give them really clear direction on that, because that might be a little bit confusing to them at the time, but it makes the images look great and way more natural as time goes on.
One more time, and then
and of course, like everything is kind of trial and error, so you're gonna have to do these a couple times, especially with anything with motion. And another thing too is really don't be afraid to ask them to do something. Like for example, I just asked them to get closer, and that, you know, that will make an image as opposed to break it. If they're broken up, then the images might not look as great. So I encourage you to like really speak up if you feel like there's something in the way, or you feel like something's gone wrong, like with their outfit. Like say, like for example, a tassel might fall more on one side, and they'll be way more grateful that you spoke up about it than just like let it be, not to bring that up.
You're gonna have to edit my frizzy hair.
Should I cross my legs?
I do.
yeah,
Crossing your legs.
that was an awesome throw.
Was it? Can I see
Yeah,
it?
yeah, of course. That was your second one. It was much better than the first one.
Oh wait,
She's an
those are really good.
Thanks, man. I try.
And you just want to like talk to them as much as possible. Like a lot of these people feel really awkward in front of a camera, so if you crack like a couple jokes and get them laughing, it makes a world of difference. Makes them so much more like easygoing, and it makes the smiles like not as forced. So just, you know, make fun of yourself, make fun of like the environment, whatever you need to do to make them laugh.
I'm gonna have some Insta-worthy pose.
That's the whole goal.
That's why you guys are paying me.
Remember paying. That's why Tina's paying you.
Oh, word? I had a feeling it was that.
Alright, so this is one thing that I'm going to bring up, and I feel like it's fairly controversial, but really don't be afraid to shoot directly like into the sun. If you can figure out a way to kind of create a silhouette with your subject, especially with the graduation photos, I think it's great. You can see here that the images really did turn out pretty incredible, and you really shouldn't be afraid of, you know, harsh lighting conditions, because you're not really 100% sure how they'll turn out until you try.
Wait, who's walking behind us? Oh.
And again, I'm moving back and forth from the subject and experimenting with different focal ranges. I think that also really helps vary up your images.
Hannah, turn a little bit like this. Yeah, just like that. A little bit more. Yeah, but lean into it. Yeah, exactly. Alright. 3, 2, 1.
And this is kind of like an interesting thing here. My client here requested that we shoot in the pool. Of course, it's not the best situation to be in, especially like all the overhead lights and, you know, the sun glaring in through the windows there. But still, if you can deliver those images and they still look good, I highly encourage you to say like, yes, like I'll try that. And it just really adds one more touch of like personality to any photos that you want. This student was obviously an athlete swimmer, so that's why they wanted it, and it really helps vary up your set.
Stay right there. Alright, that looks good. Just relax for a second, and then we'll do one more. It'd be awesome if I like fell in. Alright, cool.
Alright, that's really all I got for you guys today. If you enjoyed the video, feel free to leave a like or a comment, or maybe even subscribe. In the future, I'm thinking about making a video about how to actually edit the photos, and kind of walking you through my process on how to not only edit the photos but pull out selects for delivery. If that's something you guys are interested in, feel free to leave a comment, and if you guys have any questions at all, or any if you want any more tips, feel free to leave a comment in the comment section below, and I'll be sure to get right back to you. I love responding to comments. So yeah, I hope today helped. I hope you learned a lot, and consider subscribing. Thanks for watching.